Hey, I just wanted to share a quick video from the Founder Dojo Basic Training online course. This is the best way to test a new business idea and to get validation from customers so that you can assure your business model is going to work. And if it isn't going to work, it teaches you how to fix it so that it will get traction with customers. So there's three main components to this method. The first is problem validation, figuring out what problem you're solving and who you're solving it for. The second is solution validation. And the third is path to customers validation. So this video I'm going to share with you today is from the conclusion of the first section, the problem validation section. So I want you to just check it out, give you a little preview of what kind of content's in the course, and then I'll come back and summarize in a few seconds. Okay, let's wrap up the problem validation section. So just to remind everybody where we are in the process. So you should have gone through at least one round of scan problem interviews and at least one round of focus interviews. And remember, the process that we're following here takes you from a place of thinking to a place of knowing. So instead of being in a place where you think this is a good business idea, you think you understand customer problems, you think you know what problems they care about, you follow this process so that you move that into knowing, so that you know for sure what problem you're solving and who you're solving it for. And this is absolutely critical. And there are no shortcuts. When I first ran this class, I used to require everybody to do homework at the end of every session. And they would have to submit their homework to me. And if the homework wasn't good, I would fail them. And if they failed too many assignments in a row, I would kick them out of the class. So I'm not really doing that anymore. But the reason I put that in place is to really emphasize how important it is to do the work. And ultimately, if you don't do the work, if you're just listening to the videos and skipping them, you're just hurting yourself and you're hurting the chances that you will build a successful business. Because like any good foundation, understanding what problem you're solving and who you're solving it for is absolutely critical to building a successful business. Okay, so the problem is the foundation. It paints the target. Think of the problem as like creating the bullseye. The problem is the target. And unless you have clarity on that target, it's going to be really hard to hit it. And in fact, you're most likely going to miss it. It's imperative to get this problem customer right. You know, what problem are you solving? Who are you solving it for? If you don't get that right, if you aren't working on a problem that is meaningful to customers, nothing after this is going to go well. If you skip this part or if you don't get this right, you're going to end up building a product that you launch that you can't get traction with, and you'll be scratching your head thinking what went wrong. And what went wrong is that you didn't find a problem that customers really care about. The problem is also, like I said in the very first problem validation video, it's the wave on the ocean that's going to propel your business. So you want to have a strong problem that's intense and that's big enough to take you where you want to go. The problem is also the source of empathy for you. When you think of your customers kind of suffering from this problem, you should feel empathy for them. And if you don't feel empathy for those particular customers or that problem, then you should reconsider whether this is the right customer problem for you to focus on. Because empathy is really helpful in understanding your customer, putting yourself in their shoes, and building a great business for them. The other thing about the problem is it is the reason you can continue to iterate on the solution. And even if every solution you come up with is terrible and misses the mark, you still have a meaningful opportunity because the customer still has this unsolved problem. So you can screw up the solution a bunch of times, but with a real problem that they're willing to pay to have solved, you'll have another shot to go after it, another at bat on the plate, if you will. And then finally, the problem is the reason to keep going. You know, like I'll share something with you. I've been working on this project called Come With for a couple of years, and Come With is a cure for loneliness. You know, loneliness is a massive problem. I experienced some loneliness when I went through, a lot of lifestyle changes, when I went through divorce and became single again. And it's hard to meet people and make friends as an adult. And so I was like, this is really silly. We're all connected. Why is this so hard? So it turns out this is a very, very difficult problem to solve. We've solved it and taken a couple shots at it. We've had a hard time getting the unit economics to work on this particular version of our business model. So it's been frustrating. And I'm not done with it yet. I think there's more we can do. We're maybe like 1 or 2 tweaks away from figuring this out. But it's really the reason to keep going. There's many, many times I wanted to quit this project, and maybe I will, and maybe I should, I don't know. But the thing that kept me going is the idea that we could solve this problem. Like probably not for everybody, but we could help millions of people get away from loneliness and get it into a place of feeling connectedness and not a feeling of isolation and loneliness. And to me, this is a worthwhile problem to solve. And so that's why I continue to look at it. So for me, the problem is that kind of motivation as well, and will help propel you through the difficult times and the challenges. So you got to get this right. Okay, I've said it a million times. And of course, just kind of summarizing up, going back to the customer line, customer, problem, solution, path to customers. It's like a 4-digit combination code on a padlock. Each of these tumblers in the lock has to be lined up perfectly in order for the lock to open, in order for you to get traction. If any of these boxes are out of alignment, you won't get traction. And so I used to talk about, cracking the code on the business model. Like if I'm working on a project and we finally figure it out, we start getting traction, we start getting profitable. I was like, yeah, we cracked the code. We figured it out. We figured out how to open this lock. And so customer, problem are the first 2 components of this, and you got to get it right, just like you have to get the other 2 right. So the question for you, after you've done a number of these interviews, do you think you know who the customer is and what their problem is? Do you think you know, or do you know? Like, do you know for sure in your bones? And the reason we go through these problem validation exercises is you want to get to a place of knowing. How do you know? Well, I know because I've talked to so many customers and I kept hearing the same thing over and over and over again. This is their biggest problem, right? That's knowing. That's not thinking. That's absolutely knowing. You've heard it yourself. You've been there. You've seen it with your own eyes. You've heard it with your own ears, right? So the question is, and you just have to be honest with yourself, are you now in a place of knowing where you know who the early adopters are, who the customers are, and you know the problem you need to work on? Are you there or not? It's a yes-no question, right? If you are, awesome, good job. Go on to solution validation phase, okay? Those are the blue segments of the pie, of the validation wheel. But if you're not sure, just do more problem interviews. You will eventually get there, right? Do another round. Do another 3 or 4 or 5. And you will eventually get that clarity and that feeling of knowing, okay? So don't proceed to building products until you get there. And I know you can get there. It just takes more open-mindedness, more work, more conversations with more customers, and you will get there. So hopefully that's helpful, and I'll see you in solution validation phase when you're ready. Okay, so if you're interested in learning more, go to founderdojo.com and sign up for the free training video. This training video will give you an overview of the basic training course, give you more information about what the course is all about and how it's going to help you. There's an online component of the course where you can learn in a self-paced way to how to validate your idea. And then we also have online support sessions that happen in a group setting over Zoom. So the course includes a few months of the online support as well, where you can get me to look at your specific situation, ask some really penetrating questions to help make sure that you're on the right track in terms of building your business. And these Zoom sessions are really fun and customers say that extremely helpful. So check those out and go ahead and sign up for the free training video if you're interested. And if you have other questions, you can reach out to me at founderdojo.com. All right, thanks so much. Talk to you next time.